Well, aloha everyone. I just saw that bird was talking to me, so I shut up and listened for a second, but anyway. I thought I would just shoot another boring video for everyone so that you could take some Plinia seeds, Jaboticaba seeds, and plant them. And then hopefully, if you're lucky, you'll get something like this after like, I don't know, 10 years or so. But sooner, you'd get something along the lines of these guys, probably in like 6 months to a year. So, I have a little inclement weather set up in case it starts raining on me. Some soil for some seeds, and some seeds and some trays. So let's just start planting seeds and see what happens. So these are like, I don't know, 50 cell, maybe like 5 inches deep. For Plinia seeds, that's pretty good. Anything less than 3.5 inches is probably a little too small. As far as deep, I like at least 3.5. 4.5, 5 inch, that's a happy depth for Plinia seeds. So I'm just getting a decent amount of soil added in, since these can have little air pockets. Just load them up. Since this is a dry bag of soil too, I just opened it so it hasn't been sitting in the rain or anything. So I'll show you a couple scenarios that you might run into. Once you get it pretty full, you might want to do like a tap or shake or something, but I usually just stuff my fingers in there. Make sure it's nice and packed all the way down. Since these have an open hole to the bottom, it's better to just get it some sort of compact, so that when you try and remove the seedling after it's got roots, it doesn't just all fall apart. So add some more soil. Again, this is more of the way I do things. I don't really claim to know what I'm doing. I'm just documenting, and if it works, then you can at least know that this method will work, but we'll see. So now that I got my tray set up, grab some seeds. So these are some hybrid seeds I have sitting in some moss, peat moss. So I'm just gonna let's see. I'm not going to pre-make divots in the soil. I'm just going to do the one at a time. That way, if I lose count, I can visually see which ones I planted. And I am a bit of a scatterbrain, so it's easy for me to forget what spot I was at. And I'm really just putting it down like maybe that far on my thumb, 1/2 inch, not too far. So that's 10, 12, and it doesn't matter if the seed's smaller or bigger. In my experience, they will all grow. If they're gonna grow, they're gonna grow. It doesn't matter the size of them. Let's see. since I put the moss in there, I just want to make sure I don't lose any. I'm sure this is super exciting footage here, but oh, see, I already lost count, but then I can see here that I stopped there. That's 20 seeds. So these are a hybrid of, I'm not sure what. I think they're a Phatrantha hybrid. Other than that, that's all I'll say. But in general, the Sabara Jaboticaba is one of the better tasting ones anyway. So if you have the time and patience, you can plant those or get those going. And they're going to be way more common than the other varieties. These just are like, I don't know, more sought out for because they're just different in flavor, different in color. But I don't know if many people in the States have even tasted these, so it could all taste like crap for all I know. That's a pretty big seed. But I just like the way the tree looks when it's growing, and the different varieties all look different. They're all cool. Some have wavy leaves, big leaves, short leaves. So much variety. It just keeps you collecting them like they're Pokemon or something. Alright. So now that this tray is done, I probably have like a few more seeds in that bag, but I'll just stop there. There's only a handful more. Now I'm going to take a little bit of rainwater, since the soil is dry. So I'm doing a little bit of an experiment. I did mix in here 4 tablespoons of coconut water to the gallon of rainwater. I was reading that coconut water's got good stuff in it for plants and seeds and stuff like that. So no better time to do it when you get a bunch of rare seeds in. Just put them on there, and then if it kills all of them, you're left wondering, why do you end up doing that? So I guess I'll know if this kills them all. That was the cause. Just chalk it up to the degree of learning things the hard way. Alright. Now it's got to get a little bit moisture on the seeds. I'm just going to top them off. Because this soil is going to probably compact quite a bit and drain off and stuff. Okay. And then you should probably label your trays so that you don't mix them up and then have to figure it out years down the road, or after they leaf out, and you can tell a difference. But if they're all kind of the same kind of hybrid, then you only will know once the fruit kind of sets. Then you can kind of compare the fruit, which that could take 5 or more years. So then I'm going to just get more rainwater and set it in one of those trays. And just let it saturate in there. If you want, you can always do one of these humidity domes too. But that's not really necessary, not at least where I live. But if you have it, you can use it. So now let's do another one, but this time it'll be a scenario that maybe the seeds came from far away and sprouted already. So for that, I'm just going to put a smaller amount in, maybe halfway up, or maybe even less than that. Okay, so something like that to start with, just different varying depths, because I'll show you the reason why. So for example, I have some seeds that I've had sitting for a long time. You can see they're basically trees now. So I'll show you kind of like the more extreme version of having seeds that have already sprung and rooted. So if that's the case, I can kind of show you the anatomy of this seed right here. You can see the darker portion is clearly roots, and people will think that because it's turning brown that it's dead. That's not the case. So we'll just do our best to plant this tangled mess. A lot of time you'll find that they're like growing into each other, so you'll have like more than one seed attached. But even though these have just been left in a bag for probably months or more than a month, they're still good. Even if they got a little mold on it, as long as they're still growing, it's probably just eating away the outside of the seed and nothing else. So here's kind of an easy one, because you can see its roots going down, the sprout is growing up. So we'll just find one to put it in. Here, this one's already got a lot of soil, so I'll just show an example. Okay, that I want it to be, actually I'm just going to choose one that's got only a little bit of soil. Put it all the way down there. And essentially I'm planting it so that all of it is buried, but I'm gonna at least attempt to get the root pointing down and the stem pointing up. But I'm gonna cover this all with soil. I'm not gonna let that little sprout stick up at all. And then that seed will figure it out and grow up. Because if you leave that sprout up, chances are it's not gonna have as much humidity as it had sitting in this bag. So it's just gonna die off that sprout and have to grow a new one anyway. So instead of doing that, it'll just find its way to the top of the soil. Here's another good example of one that's just, it's got its life figured out, you know, root going down, stem going up. So this is why deep containers work better than short ones, especially if they're already sprouted. And since this soil is dry, it's going to kind of like fall down in between the roots. I find that if it's really moist soil, it's just going to kind of clump up and not do a good job at getting in between all the little feeder roots. You can see these guys are healthy, even though I've totally neglected them and let them just sit in a bag for 2 months or so, I don't know. So again, just kind of bury it to the point where it's just below the soil so that the sprout can hopefully come up somewhat quick. And just keep on going. And some will just have just a root. And you can just point that down if you wanted to. You don't have to make it too much of an effort, but I'm sure the seed will help or appreciate having been pointed downward. Some of these other ones. Okay, so you can see this one here is trying to grow 2 sprouts, and it looks like it penetrated that other seed, and it's trying to grow through that one. Let's see if we can liberate the 2. Oh, I broke it. Oh well. Oh, it was actually this way around. This one was growing into that one. Oops. I was thinking that right when I was kind of tugging on it. My bad. Anyway. So we'll just plant this guy. Roots down. Here's a good example of a happy one, pointed one direction. I don't know if there's one in here. Nope. I've gotten to the point where I'll like plant them all out, be waiting for them to sprout, and I'll be like, man, they all sprouted except for that one. I wonder why. And then I dig it up and I'm like, oh, I never actually planted anything in there. Oops. Because I'll be like going across and I accidentally fill it up and think it's full of something. So it definitely is a slower process when you're planting seeds that have already sprouted into attempts of being a tree already, but at least you know that it's alive and it was going to sprout. Sometimes you'll get a seed and you think it's all good, and then you plant it and then it's just dead inside anyway. So no matter what you did, it wasn't going to stay alive. Here, this looks like it's actually, oh no, never mind. I was going to say it looked like 2 seeds that had, or 1 seed that had broken in half, but it's 2 seeds, just little seeds. So like this one, you can see like the roots are kind of in a knot with the stems. Those, it'll figure it out. Just kind of plant it downward and let it figure it out on its own. So, slow going process when you're dealing with this. Anyway, just let this point down. And at least if you bury all of it, you're less likely to damage things. Because I've done that. I'll like plant it and then I bump it because it's above the soil line. If I would have just planted it deeper, it wouldn't have gotten bumped. Okay, how many more do I have? Quite a few. If you're curious, it's 82 degrees. So that might matter whether or not you're planting seeds. That's how cold it is. So if you are in a cold spot trying to plant seeds, I would find somewhere that can be around 80 degrees. So after you plant them, put them in trays on top of the, I don't know, refrigerator where it gets warm up top. On top of your computer tower, get some seed growing mats, some grow lights. If you're in like England or something, it might be a good idea. Do that over the winter, because I think you'll probably want to bring your plants in anyway if it's possible. But I do hear that they'll survive. They'll just probably be growing a lot slower during the winter. It probably has to like recover after the winter. I don't know if I planted something in here. I did. Okay. But if you guys have experience with where you are, what you do, you tell me what you find to work in your area. Because other people who are trying to start growing these things outside of their areas, or outside of the normal zones, they don't want their plants to die if they have any sort of hope with someone else giving them their experience of it. That's 20 of those in the ground. repositioning a bit. See if I can make it easier to see. Okay. You can see this one's got mold on it. But I'm going to plant it anyway. Because I'm just going to assume, oh no, it's not going to grow because it's moldy. I might be wrong. Let's just see. Maybe it's a good kind of mold. It makes it grow faster. Maybe it's symbiotic with the seed. Or maybe it grows really slow because of it. But at least I'll have some documentation with this video to see if that cell didn't work. Some more moldy one. But again, these are sitting in a bag for untouched for more than it would take to ship something around the world. And this is just one bag. I have a few large bags of seeds that should be planted. And these are all Sabara or Sabara, or however you want to pronounce it. Plinia, Jaboticaba. These ones here. These might be ones that I picked from a tree that I thought had smaller fruits. Or bigger fruits, smaller seeds. But I don't know, I don't have this one labeled anymore, so it's just going to go in with the mix of things. And these ones I don't mind if they're double planted because they're so plentiful of them that they can, if one doesn't take, at least there will be another one in the pot. And if two are in there, then they'll probably be fine until they get stepped up anyway. Okay. Oh. Like I was saying, I have lots of seeds with roots. I'm just going to finish this load here, finish this tray up. Just gonna go turbo mode. Launch these in there. sure I planted that one already, and this one too. Just gonna double plant a few. Alright, that should be good. Those have all got at least one. Okay, I'm just kind of pressing down since I didn't really compact the soil underneath very at all, really. And then I'm gonna wipe off the upper layer. Which is another reason for planting everything below the soil line, or the top. And might as well try the same thing. I'm gonna do the coconut water, rainwater mixture. 4 tablespoons coconut water to 1 gallon rainwater. Doubt it'll be anything special. Doubt it'll kill anything. But if it does, this is why. This is why these all died. Because leaving them in a bag for months wasn't enough to kill them. Okay. And then now I'm gonna get a tray of rainwater to sit them in. And then make sure you label it. Okay. And that's a couple of them. I still got 4 more trays to plant. At least. Yeah. And then after a few weeks to a few months, depending on your climate and your luck, they'll turn up to be seedlings. And then after a few more weeks or months, they'll get like that big. When they first sprout, they'll look kind of like these guys. Let's see if I can. Where you have like this little tiny spike, So don't weed or pull out any weeds from your seed trays until they're big enough to identify. And here's some grafts. Looks like this one's got some spots started too. So when you graft something, you want to see those little guys pop out through the tape. This one I'm still waiting on. It looks like that one's gonna work, so I'm excited for that one. Well, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed another boring video. I'm gonna plant some more seeds, and you guys can figure that it's gonna be the same thing you just saw, just longer, 4 times longer. I'm gonna be planting 4 more trays. Actually, these trays are gonna be going fast because they don't have a bunch of roots sticking out of them. But anyway, you guys enjoy your Happy New Year. Since there's only a couple days left of 2020, you can keep growing your fruits, grow trees, vegetables. Here's a flower, finger lime flowers. The white stuff is diatomaceous earth. I put all over it because I have crazy ants everywhere. So I figured that might stop them. Here's some new growth on the ESALQ. These guys have been enjoying the rain. And here's the recently pruned tree. I might be mistaken, but I think there might be new buds forming after just a week ago being pruned. And I gave some nutrients to it as well, so we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it and see if anything pops up. But I'm eagerly, patiently waiting for fruits and flowers. Looks like this Grimmel's gonna take here. It's got a little tiny bud sticking out. I'll do an update video when I know for sure when these are coming out. Here's a bit of an update for the wax jambu air layer. I've kept it in the shade, but no leaf drop. Everything's happy. I also put diatomaceous earth all over that too, so that's what all that white stuff is on a lot of these plants. I'm just trying to be less toxic for things, getting rid of these pests. Got some new growth on the red hybrid. Some black sapote sprouted. The orange is just about ready, I think. These guys I just changed to deeper trays, and they're all sprouting new growth now. So it looks like they needed it. They seemed like they were just kind of staying there doing nothing. But I'll go back to planting some more things. You enjoy your guys' new holiday, new year. I got some strawberries growing. Anyway, you guys have a good one.